After the program ended, the women went to the kitchen to prepare food. Sister Basma came and told me to sit and be comfortable until it was time to eat. But let me help, I offered. No, you are our guest. Some American sisters arrived. I will introduce them to you, she replied. Sister Basma waved to one of the women across the room. She came and the two women kissed in the face and greeted each other with a cheerful Arabic expression. Then they both returned the look at me. That's Sharon. She is Jewish. Would you keep her company until we eat? Said Sister Basma said to the other woman. Oh, of course, she replied. Hi, Sharon. I'm Sister Arwa. Sister Arwa and I sat down and began to get to know each other. I asked her how long she had been a Muslim, if she was married to a Muslim, etc. Then she dropped the bomb. Why did you kill Jesus? She asked. What? I replied. My face must have shown my shock and disbelief. I mean, he asked again, this time softening the question, why did the Jews kill Jesus? Couldn't believe what was hearing. I was astonished and annoyed by the question. I could tell it in the air innocent on her face that she really wanted to know. Maybe I never had found a Jewish woman before and this was the first real opportunity to get an answer to your unsettling question. When I was introduced to her I liked your company. After all, she was the first American one had seen that night. Now I wanted to get up and run off the table. Then the anger passed. Giving her a nefarious look, I replied between teeth, we didn't kill Jesus. It was the Romans. She returned the gaze of an injured animal. Her lips parted to say something, but before she could answer, someone called her. Excuse me, she said. I'll be back. I could hear the relief in his voice. A group of African American sisters he arrived at the masjid and spent the rest of the night in their company. Before you leave to find my husband, Sister Basma gave me her phone number and gave me he encouraged him to call and make time to visit her. I called and we developed a beautiful relation. She told me all about Islam and God. It was from her that I learned that no one killed Jesus. I learned that God brought him close to himself. She knew she was interested in the Islam and I can feel that my heart sought and longed for spiritual peace. One in the evening, while my husband and I were visiting her house, she got straight to the point and invited me to Islam. The turning point came when he explained that all my sins would be forgiven when I entered Islam. Said I'd be born again, like a newborn baby, without sin, with another chance. I broke down and cried. Wanted another chance to settle me with God. You know, I had a past of many problems. I have always loved God, but I lost in life. We asked her husband to help me say the Shahada. When I told my husband what I was about to do, he was shocked and happy at the same time. He asked if I was sure of my decision, as if I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I replied that I had never been so sure of anything in my entire life. There was no internal battle, fears or doubts. After he said the Shahada, the husband of the Sister Basma said, Mabruk, congratulations. Now you're a Muslim. When we got back home my husband me gave a gift of my own Quran and an abridged Sahih al-Bukhari. Before to leave Sister Basma's house on that special night, she gave me a gift of booklet on modesty for Muslim women. He also gave me a prayer mat, a prayer clothing and a hijab, headscarf. I've been wearing hijab since that day, alhamdulillah. I never took it off, not even after days terrible events that followed 9/11. When I became Muslim in July 1998, my father moved away for good. I had become very angry with me for marrying a Muslim and refused to acknowledge my husband as her son-in-law. But Sharon, this people hate us, he shouted. All efforts to explain the difference between the peaceful religion of Islam and political struggle between Palestinians and Israelis led to nothing. It didn't matter to me, father having been the first in his family to marry outside of Judaism. My mother, she was a practicing Catholic when they married. To add insult to offense in the eyes of my parents, my husband was also African American. Before 9/11, most Americans thought of Malcolm X every time that Islam was mentioned. Many other family members also left, show how disappointed and frustrated they were with my decision to marry with a black Muslim. My father died in August 2001, a month before the events of 9/11. At the request of the wife of my father, my family did not tell me that he had died until his funeral had ended. They feared that I would appear in the synagogue dressed in character accompanied by my black husband. We learn that the religion of Islam is for all people in all times. It shouldn't matter if a Muslim is Egyptian, Pakistani, American, Saudi, Indonesian or Palestinian. It matters whether he or she is black, white, red, or yellow. It matters if he or she speaks Arabic, English, Spanish, or Urdu. Our diversity cultural does not divide our ummah, nation. God tells us, it says in the Quran, "We have made you as nations and tribes, so that you know one another." Quran 49-13,